Hi everybody, this is Elusive Euphoria. You can call me Elu, and today we're going to talk about Redstone. Okay, so before I even begin, I obviously am running a texture pack, so you guys will just have to bear with the differences, but we're going to talk about Redstone today, and I feel like Redstone is the one aspect of the game that sort of confuses and frightens the beginners. So we're going to try to get past that. We're going to talk about Redstone. So what is Redstone? Well, Redstone in the game, you would find it in these ore blocks, and they exist in the lowest 16 layers of the game. And when you break them, you'll get what's in my hand here. It looks like that. That's redstone. And redstone can be placed on the ground like this. And redstone is basically electricity within the game. You can think of redstone when it's placed on the ground as like electrical wires. Hi, chicken. And these wires can be given power to run circuits. So there are a number of different power sources. I've got them lined up here, but before I talk about power sources, I want to talk about a few different little limitations, some little quirks. I got some demonstrations right here. You'll notice I can place redstone like this, but as soon as I try to place it on glass, I can't. Point being, there are some blocks that you can't place redstone on. Another example would be half slabs. The reason being, if you pull up F3 and you look at your menu and you look at the values, we want to look at the specific Y value that we're on right now, which is 4.5. The rule is that redstone cannot be placed on any surface that does not have a whole Y value. So I can place it on 4, I can place it up here at 5, I can place it up here at 6, but I can't place it anywhere else. They can only be on whole Y values. So that's the reason why they can't be placed on half slabs. If I were to double up this half slab, I would be able to place it. Okay, now in terms of redstone power sources, one of the most popular ones and one of the most critical things you'll ever have to create with redstone is a redstone torch. It's made the same way you would make a normal torch with sticks and coal, except you replace the coal with redstone. And when you place it on blocks, it will supply power to surrounding areas. So you notice that we have this redstone torch placed on this redstone lamp here, and we have a few redstone lamps around it. You'll notice that the redstone torch does not supply power to the block that it's placed on, but it does to surrounding blocks. See, if I place it on the top here, it gets power there. If I place it on the front, literally any other side will power up, but any of these little sort of adjacent ones do not. And again, you'll see, again, this is just the same example. If I place these blocks on other sides of it, you can see they light up, but the one it's placed on does not. Now, another type of redstone source, and this is new as of 1.5, if I remember correctly, the redstone block will supply power to all adjacent sides. Anything it's placed on, you will get power on. But obviously not these little kitty corner places. So there you go. Those are two basic redstone power sources. These are the type that are always on and always supplying power. So we've got two redstone torches here, and they're supplying power to these redstone wires. They're going out 16 or 15 blocks, something like that, out to these blocks here. And you'll notice that this wire comes all the way to this stone block, and this light is on, yet this wire is coming out to this glass block, and this light is not on. The reason being is another quirk of redstone. There are some blocks that do not connect redstone circuits. So glass would be one of them. There are others not really coming to me at the moment, but stone is a great example of one that will conduct redstone circuitry. So if this piece of redstone here is powered, it will supply power to that redstone or to that stone block, and subsequently any blocks that are placed onto or next to that block will receive that power. So there you go. But just for argument's sake, if I were to place it here, it does not become powered. It's not going to continually power through nothing. So now we want to talk about some other redstone power sources that aren't, hello chicken, that aren't redstone torches or redstone blocks. And they are things like levers, buttons, and pressure plates. You may have crafted these in the game already and not understand how they're used, especially if you're watching this tutorial, since we're just going over basic redstone. But levers and buttons can both create redstone signal. A lever basically creates a constant redstone signal, so when it's switched on, it supplies redstone power to this block and subsequently to this circuit, so it'll turn on that light, it'll turn on the light that it's connected to. And buttons work in a similar way, except they are a pulse of redstone signal, so I can push this button and turns on for a while and turns off. Stone button works the same way. These buttons are literally exactly the same, except they just have a different... One's crafted with one, one's crafted with stone. They just look a little bit different. If you place a stone button on a stone block, it can actually be camouflaged, and a wood button on a wood block in much the same way. So if you ever want to hide the trigger to a certain circuit, that's one recommendation. You can put a wooden button on an oak wood block, and you should be able to hide it pretty well. Alright, but I don't want to dilly-dally too much, so let's talk about a couple of these other pressure plates. Stone pressure plates and wood pressure plates. These work almost the same way, in that they simply have a different cosmetic look to them, but there is one feature about them that distinguishes one from the other. If I were to drop items onto a wood pressure plate, it would trigger with full power, but if I drop items onto a stone pressure plate, you get nothing. It only activates when a person or entity, or mob, I should say, walks on top of it. So that includes, monsters and stuff like that. So, it can be used for mob traps and things like that. So we have a couple other pressure plates over here. We have an iron and a gold pressure plate, and these two are distinguished by being weighted pressure plates. The deal here is that they will send a certain amount of power based on the amount of weight or items that are placed onto them. So with these, it's a great opportunity to start talking about the strength of redstone circuits. You'll notice that all of these other ones we've looked at, they send a full strength signal across 16 blocks. Redstone, by the way, will not go any further than 16 blocks. You have to use something called a repeater, and we'll get into repeaters later, but right now I just want to demonstrate that these will actually only send a certain amount of signal based off the amount of items that are on them. The iron pressure plate is referred to as the heavy weighted pressure plate, and the gold one is the light one. You notice when I stand on both, I get one signal, or one block of signal. But if I start dropping items onto it, I'm going to throw one stack of stone. You see I get one block of signal. I throw another stack, I get two. I throw another stack, I get three. Another stack, 4. Okay, but a iron pressure plate takes a lot more. I throw one stack on there, I get 1. And it's going to take a lot more to actually get 2 blocks of signal. I believe the number is 9 stacks, 8 or 9 stacks, and then you'll get the next block of signal. But I'm not going to waste time putting all those blocks in there. You just have to trust me on it. Alright, moving on. So another way to send a redstone signal is one that can be used for a trap. This is a tripwire hook right here, and tripwire hook can be strung against another one using string. That's just regular old string, which I can't remember where it is in this menu. Here we go, string. So if I take string and place it on the ground, there you go. So what's happening here is I've got 2 redstone lamps on either side of here just to demonstrate that it will send signal. When I walk across the string, it's going to trigger the tripwire hooks. They're going to send redstone signal to both of these blocks, so you can see the lights turn on, but I also get that light back there to turn on, which is being sent that way. This is a great way to set up traps, or just have certain circuits triggered when mobs or people are within them. They could be, they don't have to always be deadly traps. But anyways, moving on. We got a lot to go through, and we're just trying to get to the end here. This chicken's laying an egg. Where's that chicken? I thought I saw him. He's hiding from me now. Alright, anyways. So we've got a daylight sensor here. This is using nether quartz to craft this. If you're curious about any of these recipes, you can just look them up on minecraftwiki.net. You can see right now it's a little past midday, and it's sending almost full strength. So I'm going to set time. Okay, so I just changed time to midday. We're right at noon right now, and you'll notice that at noon we've got full strength from the daylight sensor. And there you go. I mean, that's pretty intuitive, right? So the daylight sensor is sensing that it is daylight and full daylight at noon. So let's go ahead and set time equal to night. Time set night. And you'll notice it drops off significantly. This is right before sunset. So this actually will take, I think, if you were to change this to 15:30, 1,000. There you go. There's absolutely no daylight. So yeah, that's what the daylight sensor does. It sends a certain amount of redstone signal based on what time of day it is. Alright, moving on to our last power source, we have a trapped chest. Now see we've got a regular chest right over here. This does absolutely nothing. But a trapped chest, which is made with redstone, will actually send a redstone signal. The only difference from most of its comrades would be that it sends only one block of redstone signal. But that should suffice in setting off any sort of circuit that you need for a chest. Again, you can do just about anything with that signal. It's up to you to figure that out. So that does it for our redstone power sources, and just to give you an idea of what can be done with those redstone power sources, we've got a fence gate, an iron door, a piston, a trap door, rails, we've got a dispenser here with some stuff in it, and we've also got some TNT. So you notice when I push this red button, all these things become activated. Did I say red button? I meant wooden button. And again over here, this rail switches, that door opens, and we fired an arrow out of our dispenser here. Woo! Scared me. Fire. And another thing we can do is, gotta stand back here. Trigger TNT. That was kind of fun, wasn't it? So what happened there was the redstone signal was sent to this piece of bedrock here. Bedrock does conduct redstone, and it triggered that piece of TNT. So if you want to blow stuff up with redstone, you can, and you can be at safe distance when you do so. Alright guys, that about does it for this episode. We've covered what redstone is and redstone power sources, but the real fun stuff will come up later when we start talking about repeaters and comparators and inverters and clocks and all that sort of redstone wizardry. But until next time, have fun.